presentations. JGonzales is going to talk to us about cybersecurity. Let's welcome him.
Hello. So the topic of my project is cybersecurity future. Like Mr. Kerr was saying, I'm OC16. So I kind of want to go into the topic of hacking and what exactly hacking is. The true definition of hacking is a critical and creative process of solving a problem using information. The term of hacking has evolved over time. First starting as people like in the 60s and 80s and around that area, with people who were really good with computers, who knew code and could make computers do whatever they wanted, with limits, of course. But nowadays, hacking has been put with a negative connotation. Many people think, oh, like a hacker is someone that sitting in their computer with a laptop trying to steal your credit card information. Well, hacking is actually more of a tool, kind of like a hammer, partly because you can build with a hammer, you can also repair things, but you can also destroy things. Hacking is the same way. Using code, we can make a program, and upgrade it, add additions to it, but we can also take it apart, even cause some intent out of it. A big part of why hacking became so popular is because of the growth of the internet. As Bill Gates said, it is a big challenge, but we have to make sure that security is not the thing that holds us back. What he meant was that security and restrictions should not be put on the internet, because otherwise the internet would not have expanded to what it is today. There's this idea of the Internet of Things, which is the idea that everything will somehow be connected. That your computer, your cell phone, your car, buildings, even things like coffee machines could even be connected. Anything that's electronic and that shares information could be somehow connected and put into the internet where it's available for hacking to occur. I have a video of real-time capture, well, a capture of a real-time event captured by Norse Corporation. They have a bunch of networks and honeypots, which a honeypot is essentially a network with fake information on it, kind of like a trap to lure hackers into it, so then managers can see exactly what the hackers are doing, how they're getting in, what information they're stealing, and they use that information to guide steps into preventing unauthorized access. As you can see, it's worldwide. These are just the attacks that are known. Each color represents a different kind of attack. Some attacks are simple, as in like trying to take down a computer, or like other attacks are like attempting to steal information. But the majority of attacks are unknown, and that is what's called a zero-day attack, which is possibly the scariest type of cyber attack. It's a vulnerability that is not known to anyone else except for the one user. So Kevin Mitnick, possibly the most popular hacker in the world, he once said hackers are breaking the system for profit. Before it was about intellectual curiosity and pursuit of knowledge, thrill, and now hacking is big business. Kevin Mitnick, at age 13, he used social engineering, which social engineering is the method of gaining information and tricking people by human interaction. A lot of hackers use this in, some of you have probably been called by people claiming to be like the IRS or someone else, right? Those are considered hackers that are using social engineering. But at age 13, Kevin Mitnick, he was able to use social engineering and other human interaction methods to trick bus drivers into giving him free rides around the city. So, yeah. At age 16, he got his first access into a supercomputer, the ARC, by Digital Education Corporation, I believe. I'm sorry. But yeah, he was able to get access into major computer developments at age 16. Eventually, though, he got arrested in 1995 for multiple cases of fraud and malicious intent and even some unauthorized access into big companies. He was put in prison for 5 years, but eventually into solitary confinement with no access to technology because he somehow convinced officials that he could create a nuclear war by just talking on the phone and making whistling noises. So he scared people. But now, since he's been released, he's been allowed back into the internet. But a surprising thing is that big companies like Microsoft, Cisco, Verizon, AT&T, even the FBI, they hire him to penetrate their system and tell them exactly what's wrong with their system, how they can improve it and stuff. Even has his own company, Midnick Security Consultants. And hacking gets into the term of the types of hackers. There's three different classifications of hackers. There's white hats, black hats, and gray hats. White hats are known as the corporate hackers, the ones that kind of like administrators, managers. Black hats are the malicious ones. Those are the ones that most people know about, the ones sitting in their laptops, stealing computer information. The gray hats are a bit hard. One example is Group Anonymous. Here's one of their associations with. But Anonymous, they started out as a black hat organization, stealing information, credit card information. However, when ISIS attacked Paris not too long ago, they officially declared war on ISIS, which some people were kind of confused about, like why would a black hat hacker organization come to do this? Their motives were, of course, but so they're controversial because they also attacked accounts that were completely innocent. Twitter accounts, they got into innocent people's accounts and took information even then, but also while at the same time exposing ISIS and kind of being an annoyance to them. But okay. So gray hat hackers are really important because they define the rules as to what is acceptable in the internet society. So while I was really interested about that, I got into contact with Michael Murphy. He is I don't have a picture of him for security reasons, but he's a system analyst at Swift. Swift is a company centered in Culpeper that they exchange money between businesses every day, and billions of dollars come through their computers every day. But he talked to me about possibility of a cyber bomb. And the concept of a cyber bomb is an attack so great that it could wipe out an infrastructure completely, similar to like a nuclear bomb, except it's a cyber bomb. And we talked about the different businesses and how each of them like kind of attack each other, how it's a game of cat and mouse where one company wants more information than the other one, so they're willing to sell that information between them, or sometimes completely keep that stuff. And that's how zero-day attacks occur, because hackers are able to get that information and then use it for themselves. And also, as part of my internship, I entered at TIAC, from the technology here in the Orange County Public Systems with Mr. Stafford, Mr. Hatfield, and Mr. Winger. While I was there, I learned a lot about the schools network, how it's kind of measured up to it. Mr. Hatfield actually talked to me about the future plans for the network, and I kind of had some insight into like what the security concerns are going into them. For example, the Wi-Fi students. Students are not technically not allowed to go into the Wi-Fi, as many of you know, but still a lot of students are able to with unauthorized access. And then we started talking about the different attacks into the school, except most importantly, CryptoBlocker. There have been many accounts of CryptoBlocker in the school. Recently, last year was the biggest one where a lot of the data was lost from the not really lost, but encrypted so that it couldn't be accessed. But luckily, through backups and other methods, we were able to get the information back. But this is a type of example where social engineering was used because an email was sent out to a staff member, and the virus kind of spread from there and kind of took all the information from the school. And Janice Shields, while I was doing part of my research paper on cyber warfare, said that there's a gap between workplace computer security recommendations and the realities of human practice, meaning that many security experts know what to do, but some of them don't follow protocols or attempt to fix the problems, kind of like in the same way that people know like healthy habits, but a lot of people don't really commit to that. And it's more of a human error as opposed to a computer error. And I was really curious about social engineering, how you can manipulate someone into tricking them you're actually legit. So what I did is I did another internship at UVA, with the Department of Computer Science. I worked with Scott Ruffner and Brian Donato. They were huge help to my research project, my research paper. Um, there I am, just on the server. They gave me an introduction of all of just the computer science, the department and their network, kind of into insights of that, and many of their security concerns. Obviously, I can't talk about it because it's kind of important for them. I was also I was given the responsibility of imaging multiple computer labs, making sure that security patches were up to date, that all the software was as hardened as possible so that hackers would not get into it. I was even made an administrator with my own username and password and credentials. And as many of you know, I'm also a part of Hornet Technologies. Hornet Technologies is a program in the high school that teaches A+, Net+, and Security Plus for students, which many security and IT professionals desire, not really desire, but it's a requirement to get into the field. From the information that I checked, A+ has about 700,000 people worldwide certified. Network Plus, approximately 180,000. And Security Plus, only 31,000 in the world. And before starting on this project, I already had my A+ and Net+, and I was doing an independent study in Security Plus while doing my project. So that really helped out a lot. But one of the main issues I noticed was that there was a huge difference between my book work and real life situations. I remember in UVA they had an issue with printers, that some of the printers were really insecure and people could print whatever they wanted on it. Like even if you weren't connected to the UVA Wi-Fi, you could still print. And I was trying to like figure out like how could we fix that and stuff, and I couldn't look at my book, at the textbook that I was using, because it's way different. But that eventually led into my community service position, where, oh, by the way, in Security Plus, I learned my favorite acronym, CCMP, which stands for Counter Multi Blockchain Master Authentication Code Protocol. Okay, anyway, so it led into my community service, where I was part of these AFA, which is the Air Force Association's Cyber Patriot Competition, which is a national high school cyber defense competition. Many competitions today. So last year, I was kind of in a team member. I was a team member competing in the competition. I didn't really know a whole lot about it, and we did okay in the competition, but not as well as we could have. But what I noticed was that there was a huge gap between what we knew and what we didn't. So I kind of started thinking, I was like, okay, how can we make this program better? So as you can see, like, there are different logos in there from the companies that help us out. But I started to think, well, the middle school, Prospect Heights Middle School, they have a lot of students, and recently the Cyber Patriot, they allowed middle school and even elementary school teams to join, to kind of create teams and kind of introduce them to cybersecurity and ways to protect against hackers. So I went to Prospect Heights Middle School and I taught at Miss Fitch's and Miss Miller's class, first the 8th grade class. And one thing I learned there was that 8th graders are terrible. I have a lot more respect for middle school teachers now. They were a really bad crowd. Totally like unresponsive to anything I said. But anyway, I have to go through that. And then a couple of days later, I taught at the 6th grade class, which it completely amazed me because they were so quiet, paying attention, and listening to everything I had to say. And it amazed me like the level of maturity between 8th graders and 6th graders. I mean, I could have just scared them, and I don't know, but they were quiet, and many of them learned. But the thing that scared me the most was this 6th grader. After I finished my presentation, one of them asked me, like, 6th grader, he was probably the smallest of the group, sitting in the corner, and he asked me if I knew about the dark web. And the dark web is, as you can tell, represented by the internet is represented by an iceberg. So on the top part, you have web pages like Google, Amazon, Wikipedia, places like that. Right? But then you have this area right here. This is the deep web. That's where companies keep their records, like financial records or staff records or whatever personal information. But over here on the dark side, that is the dark web. The dark web. And it's not really a place a sixth grader should be going to, because that is where many illegal transactions are made, mostly with drugs, guns, prostitution, and murder. Yeah, like I'm not kidding. You can go to the dark web and put a hit on someone. It's scary. And it really worried me that a sixth grader knew about that. But then I started thinking, like, hacking, it's curiosity. In some ways it's helpful, but kind of has to guide it along, right? So as for my legacy, I believe that through my speech that I gave out in my lecture at the Prospect Heights, that a lot of the eighth graders, even though they weren't listening to me, they somehow got the message that this is important. This is a really important career. So many of them will actually be joining Tech in the following years and getting the same certification that I have. Because in my time at Tech, I was able to get A+, Net+, and Security Plus. And I even answered a couple of them were curious about Governor School and Tech. How is it possible to do Tech and Governor School at the same time? And it certainly is possible, but I was really restricted on the classes I could take. But I stayed dedicated and passionate about the field that I wanted to go into. So yeah, I told them that it was possible, and I influenced them. And Tech will have many more students for the coming years. And for the future, I plan to go to George Mason University. I've already been accepted. I'm probably going to do some informational technology bachelor's and then eventually move into more in-depth cybersecurity, maybe even ethical hacking. But yeah. And thank you. And some advice that I would have to rising people, rising government school students is stay passionate about your topic. Really get into it, but never give up. Like if it doesn't work, still go at it. Just never give up. Some things I learned about myself while I was at UVA. I learned it has amazing coffee shops everywhere. Coffee. And somehow I learned that I found it really satisfying to be the inspiration to those sixth graders, and that sixth grader that went through what went through my mind was like, I'm probably looking at the next Kevin Midnick at that point. Because at that point he knew possibly, like, I just don't know how to explain it. It's just crazy to me. But yeah, thank you. Yes.
So, obviously, I mean, based on your presentation, there's going to be so much need for people to be well versed in the skills of cybersecurity and all the things that are associated with that, all the kind of activity you're describing and talking about. What do you think we can do? I mean, you made some efforts in this, having gone down and experienced this by going and talking to younger students. What are the things that we as educators can do to get more students thinking about this as a possible educational career path?
Well, Tech is a really special program because it gives us the opportunity to get certified even before college. Many college students don't really get certifications after they graduate, or sometimes during. But establishing programs like Hornet Technologies that give students the ability to learn and just kind of enhance their knowledge, but also at the same time introducing it to them before they get there. Because I know many people who know about the Hornet Tech program, but because of scheduling and stuff, they just weren't able to take the classes. Mm-hmm. So some of them fell behind. So more of an introduction. I wouldn't say an introduction into elementary school because they're a bit young about that age, but possibly. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jose.